Got all the pistons out, they're all labeled. Got looking at the crank, and I'm gonna grab one of my microfibers, and it actually looks fairly good. Definitely for, again, being used. It's got 80-some thousand miles on it. But everything here, like, it spins good, everything's fine. I don't see any crazy marks on it. I mean, is it perfect? No, it's not brand new. It's not brand new from a machine shop, but it doesn't honestly matter because I've done this before on a few builds and it's fine. Now, if I was doing an all-out performance build, obviously you would want the crank cleaned up or polished at least, and with new bearings and, you know, all the good stuff. But A, don't have time for that, and B, I pulled this motor out of a perfectly running vehicle, so like it's gonna be okay. So my main thing is that I know the walls are glazed up, and I'm gonna reset this a little bit here. There we go. And we'll rotate this and I'll show you guys and gals. Get this flipped over. And actually you can see, and some of this may have been from sitting in my garage too. But if you look, if you can even see it in here, there's a little bit of a glazing. Nothing terrible, but it's not, I don't know if my reflection of the glove helps any, but it's not awesome. Which is why I decided, you know what, I've got it this far apart. I'll get a new set of rings. I got to gap the rings anyway. We'll just put new rings in it and go from there. So my quick fluid of choice for a ball hone is some WD-40. And I'll just spin this around and spray her good, get it all nice and wet. Actually, no, I'll switch to the other tip. There we go. Yeah, just like that. Then all the bores, get a nice hone WD-40, and I do not go crazy with this. In and out a couple times, get a cross hatch, get out. That should be literally enough. If I have to do more, I'll do more, but that should be good. So, I don't want to dirty up all my perfectly fine ones. I'll set that down there. I'll grab this guy. We're gonna clean. Yeah, and see how this looks already? Like, that's perfect. I don't want to go crazy. I can feel a slight difference. And like, this is obviously, I grabbed the dirty rag. I'm gonna go back with it with a cleaner one. But my main thing is, like, I wanted to break the glaze. I don't know if you can see in there or not, but there's a little bit down in here I didn't get. The piston ring doesn't go down that far. Plus to mention, I always try to miss A, the crank, which I did, thankfully. B, the edge of these LS's where the mains are. Obviously try to miss those. So, and as I said, this is already a dirty rag from cleaning up the pistons to label them. So I will do this just as an initial wipe down. Then I'm gonna get probably another microfiber. Microfibers off Amazon are not that expensive. So when I'm doing a junkyard engine like this, obviously, again, not a machine shop. This is at home, but the microfibers I consider completely disposable for the sake of doing this. And look, I got 4. That's all it took. You don't go crazy. You don't do a pile. You go in and out and just give it, all you're doing is breaking the glaze on the cylinder. So the piston rings, when they seat in, they have a nice new surface to seat against. You don't want to do anything crazy. So that's perfect. Like that side's already done. That's all it takes. You can see I made a mess, but whatever, I'll clean it up later. All right, so I'm gonna flip it. I don't know if you can see it better like there. There's still like a little bit at the tops. Don't get excited if you're doing this, you're watching this video and then do this yourself. Don't get excited about getting all of that out of there. You're not going to, and you're gonna do more damage than you're gonna do help. You literally, I like the ball hone over the 3-stone because it conforms to the cylinder better. There have also been other people that have released like RMA testing on these, and a ball hone isn't perfect. Obviously, you're never gonna beat an actual machine shop doing this, but it's better than a 3-stone. So again, little can of WD-40 is cheap. And definitely with the new spray nozzle setup, it's not a big deal. Then again, just lightly spin, get this all nice and lubricated. It's probably plenty. All right. And again, using the dirty microfiber just as an initial. Oh yeah, that's perfect. You don't want to go crazy, you just want to break the glaze. Okay, I don't know if you can see in here, but you can see I didn't get all the way down. A, I was missing the crank. B, again, the ring only goes down to the end of the shiny part. The rest of that is the center part right here on the piston, so the ring doesn't go down all the way down to the bottom, right? On the edges it does, but again, this is for seating rings. So I don't get too excited about it, and all I'm doing is breaking the glaze. I'm not trying to do anything else. I'm not trying to go larger, I'm not trying to overdo it, because I've seen a lot, I've done it. Like on the first one I did, I overdid it. Like, you can easily overdo this. A little goes a long way. Just gotta break the glaze and be done. And you can see, nice and filthy. Not a huge deal. I got another one I'm gonna clean it with. And this one, I'm gonna spray some WD-40. Go in here. And this will see how a little bit of trash out of that. Now, go in there with all of them and just get them cleaned up. That way, we're ready to go. So stuff I did at work, I didn't take videos of, is the cylinder heads. So I ended up cleaning the cylinder heads in a parts cleaner, then Scotch Brighting with ultra fine, that's a key word, ultra fine Scotch Brite, with the solvent, or I don't even really call it solvent, but the cleaner that was in our parts cleaner. So I did all that, and then I installed the Pack 1218s. So again, genuine Pack 1218s from Summit Racing, because there's so many knockoff 1218s currently. I wasn't taking the chance at all. They all got new Pack 1218s, and from Summit, that way I knew they were genuine. They're still a budget racing spring, which is good, and it will hold boost. Off of camera, I was able to actually, I grabbed, the first ring wouldn't break. Second ring, or the middle ring, snapped. That's what I was looking for. It gave me a nice sharp edge. I was able to clean the ring grooves out, blow them off the blowgun, clean the top up. It's not perfect, will work just fine. So now we're gonna gap the rings. So I'm actually gonna stick this one. This is number 1, and I brake cleaned off the marker, so I'll brake clean it off one more time before I cinder. Actually, you know what? I can just do this. 1. There we go, because that's gonna be fine. And I can Clean that off, and that won't be a problem. Ta-da. All right, so I got it marked. Cylinder 1. I need to grab the feeler gauges. And the reins. So we're gonna do one piston at a time. I'm going to install them at the same time I do the reins. That way everything is happy. Third, these are oil control. Top and second. And for those that need the instructions on how the oil ones are, they are here. But I've done this so many times, I don't need this. And you can see, I don't know if you can see off this, but this is a chrome plated ring crown. Again, just a factory replacement. I wasn't going for anything special. Not a dot or anything. So this is gonna be cylinder 1. Check gap, and it's gonna be tight because again, this has not been touched. But let's see, 14. Close. Let's stick it about that. So 16. I think 18 stock in it, which is about what we got. Okay. And I want probably 28. So it's 18 thou right now. So I'm gonna do. All this is gonna get cleaned up before I use it, but I'll do this. There we go. Okay. So that's the top ring. I'm going to do the same thing for the second ring, except I'm going to do a 28-30 split. So the middle ring is going to be 30. And I'm going to do that for all 8. I'm going to come back with a video when I'm installing piston 1. Okay, so just got done. This one is the second ring. This one is the top ring for cylinder 1. And then we got, this one feels like the oil, nope, those are the thins. This is the third ring, or the oil control groove ring. So, this one I do, all of the rings I try to do 180 except for the expander. The expander, like 180 in line with the crank, except for the expander ring. The expander ring I always put up. So, cylinder 1, it's gonna go like this. The expander's gonna go up. Just like so. Expander ring's in. Now, I'll do these 180 from each other. I always start away from the dot on the bottom. So, this one, not saying this is correct, just saying this is what I do. Just figured I'd put that as a disclaimer because someone's probably gonna come on and say, you're doing it wrong, and I might be. But I've never had a motor have an issue with rings, at least, doing it this way, so. Just like that. Another one. Oh, that's 2. I need 2, just need 1. Again. This one goes towards the dot. Then pretty much middle one will go away from the dot and the last one will go towards the dot. That's why I do it that way. like so. Second ring. I did notice the second rings have a little engraving saying top on them. So like so. And the top ring. And the top ring has nothing at all. No dot, no nothing. So they are unidirectional for the top ring in this Hastings kit. So, which is fine. I've had plenty, like, I haven't always used the same rings, and sometimes it's just different bore sizes have different ring packages available, which is mostly why. But regardless, always make sure everything's kind of nice and free, because it's going to have to be free in the engine. And again, I do everything 180 from each other in line with the crank the best I can. Now, I use this style because I don't buy individual. I have the 4853 bore, the standard bore one. That is the nice Summit one that you just press in. Everything else, I do so many, like, not many LSs, but like small engines and just four-wheeler stuff and whatever, that it doesn't make sense for me to buy each individual piston size that's out there. So this works pretty well. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to clean the bearings. Everything there is clean. Then we're going to pop the bearing cap back off, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the upper bearing. Because you don't want oil in here. You want this surface to be dry. Because this, you don't want the bearing spinning. Now, the bearing gets clamped. It's a little bit bigger than this bore, and it actually gets clamped into there. But you still, this you want dry. The bearing where it rides on the crank, you want lubricated, which I have assembly lube here. So this, I'll always clean the bearing. Again, trying to get any residues off there. This isn't going to be perfect. I'm not working in the clean room. This is just, it'll be fine. So now, with those being clean, I will take and I'll put this bearing back in. I can tell it's going to be a problem of it falling. I may end up just tossing this in with the piston in. Yeah. I'm going to end up tossing that in with the piston in. Okay, that way it doesn't fall and hit the ground and break my bearing. It's not the end of the world. It's not what I like to do. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so you can see, this is why you always check and make sure. These little stupid expander rings always love to jump out of the bore. So I always try to make sure that's all good. Okay, so upper and lower bearing. Actually, I'm going to lubricate that piston a little bit and grab tooling. I'm all over. So, tooling I'm going to need to get that tight. So, again, a little bit of oil. Oil goes the wrong way. You don't have to get crazy. And this is going to be skirts and piston rings. No dry starts. all worked in there good. All right. I'll take that up. My only fear is that oil control ring jumping out of its groove. And like that. So all right. A little farther, we're gonna get her. Okay. So I grab my trusty old hammer. I'm gonna send one home. So like that. Okay. That's why you don't rush anything. You just take your time. I'll clean the top now. So, as I'm gonna grab some Scotch-Brite, and I will clean the decks on both sides and the valley cover area and get that all sorted. Now, flip it over. I'm going to clean the crank. What we're going to do is move the crank out of my way. Move it this way. And we're going to get that bearing in. I don't like doing them this way, but when they're used bearings, sometimes they won't stay, and when you need them to stay, and they don't want to stay, you do what you have to. Now, you do assembly lube, and all with assembly lube, more than enough. My word. Okay. So. Not on split line. All right. Like that. Okay. So that's good. Now, a little bit inside. And then, actually, before I do that, I'm going to take the bolts out. Or, no, I'm not going to take the bolts out. That's fine. clean this guy up. So, again, nice and dry. As dry as you can reasonably make it. This part can't spin. Or, okay, this part's not supposed to spin. We'll put it that way. My dogs are having a field day upstairs if you hear that. Alrighty. And a little dollop. A long way. I put way more on the bottom than I was so used to the. Again, this is not a narc on Permatex. If Permatex watches this, please don't. But I like the Amsoil stuff. The Amsoil squirter works way nicer for this. So maybe a design thing. Regardless, okay. So if you ever split cap, as I said, these only go on one way, right? So because of that, what you gotta do is where the tangs are for the bearing always line up with each other. So this goes here. This gets tightened down. Like so. I'm gonna snug them up with my. I will torque them down with the torque wrench I have here, but right now I just need to be able to rotate the motor without worrying about it. So good and snug, nothing crazy. What I can do is I can loosen each one of those up and do it that way, but that feels wonderful. Okay, so ta-da. One down. I am not going to video the other 7. I'm just going to do them quick because, again, this is Hot Rod Drag Week prep. But anyway, I think I'm going to cut the video there. Got one in, and I'll show you. Turn it around. I'm sure this is plenty long enough for a video, but I'll do it right here, and you can see the beautiful spinning of one piston. I'm going to do that to the other 7. I'll have fresh new rings, and everything's honed. It'll be all clean, or clean enough. Next video I come back with, what I'll end up doing is I will clean the deck, re-clean the motor, and then we'll start assembly. Get the gear off, get the cam in, lifters, all the fun stuff. This is kind of tedious just because, again, I'm working at home. I am doing stuff with the tooling I have. An ultrasonic cleaner would be nice. I may end up having to pick one up, but I don't have time. I gotta get this thing going. So, all right, we're gonna end the video there. Thank you for watching. Tune back for the next video when I am probably putting a cam and lifters, trays, DOD delete, clean, assemble, then clutch, and all the things. So anyway, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.